Hello everyone, this is Misty with Burnt Mill Resellers here. I thought I would do a little chat about a purchase I made this summer at a yard sale, kind of give an update of where I'm at. I went to two different yard sales, one on one weekend and one on the next weekend, and found cassette tapes. I found that the first cassette tape buy was about 15 cassette tapes that I paid about $15 for. So it was about $1 per cassette. And those were mostly like 90s alternative metal for the most part. And then the following weekend I hit the gold mine. So it was probably about 11 in the morning. I'd already been to quite a few yard sales before I ended up at this one. And I walked up and immediately I saw all these cassettes and boxes on the ground and kind of generally glanced through and saw quite a bit of rap. At least some names I kind of recognized. I should start by saying that I'm generally into industrial or goth music, so rap is definitely not in my wheelhouse, but enough to know that there was something here. So I asked her how much to buy all of them, and she did a little calculating, kind of counted, because if you can see in here, they're actually like 2 rows deep, and most of these boxes are 3 rows deep, and she came back with a price of $25, and in my head I was thinking I would pay more than that, but I took the $25 and took all of the cassettes she had, and for 50 cents each she threw in the giant wood containers that hold all the cassette tapes, you know, when you're going to display them. So I have them all alphabetized, and I've started listing them because this happened about 12 weeks ago, and I've been starting alphabetically from A, and I'm currently just about to finish up the letter G. And I thought I would go over some of the numbers on where we're at. Ended up being just under 300 cassettes with the first group and then this group, and it's just a little bit short. I had to buy some boxes that are custom designed to ship cassette tapes. And when I deduct out all of the fees, I'm already in the profit of $108, and I've only sold, I think, looks like about 24 cassette tapes. So right here's all my fees if you want to see. The total sold so far is $366.35. Out of all the fees, eBay fees, one was PayPal before I got switched over to managed payments. When you deducted all that out, left me with about $291.41. And then I did make a little bit of profit on the shipping, would be $26.62. I did have the cost of the boxes. I ended up getting 500 boxes, which is way more than I'm going to need, but I'm hopeful to get more cassette tapes to sell in the future. And those boxes costed me about $169.74. I kind of estimate that the per box fee is 34 cents, and then the cost for each cassette tape is a few cents. So you could just roughly figure about 50 cents per cassette tape is my cost. And having sold all of them where I'm at right now, it's that $108.29 after deducting all the box costs and the fees and the cost of the actual tapes in the first place. So it's been pretty lucrative so far, considering I haven't really sold that many. This last one I sold in the last couple of days was a group of 5. Some people ask, for me to group up things, which I'm more than happy to do. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about some of these. Because it's such a random mix, and there were so many of them, I did not scan each one of them to see what they're worth. So I photograph them in order, and then when I go to list them, that's when I look up what the price is. And some aren't worth as much as I would like, and then some end up surprising me. So I can never tell what's coming next. I hit the letter F, and I found one that the sold comp on it was $149.99. So, and I couldn't find any others listed. And I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I can get $199.99. So if there's more of those surprises waiting, I can't wait to get to them. But I'm slowly doing them. I try to do maybe 1 or 2 a night. Depends on how my days are going. Sometimes I can knock out 4 listings. I just do this part-time. I'm a part-time reseller, and I'm trying to also do a mix of other items in my store so that it's diversified. So it's been a discovery project. And I thought I'd show just some of the ones that have sold so far. Like I said, this one is still active and hasn't sold yet, but hopefully we'll get a buyer for that one pretty soon, and that'll be a major score. This is the one that was a group of different cassettes. It was 5 different ones at Eddie Money, Bad Brains, and then 3 of the DRI cassette tapes. And I always like when it gets to bundle them all up. It saves them some money on shipping and then gets a bunch out the door. So some are a little bit cheaper. Not all of them are like knock it out of the park prices. But you know, $1 here and $1 there, it's starting to add up. And I have taken the time to already photograph it, which is the price you're going to pay when you haven't looked them all up. So this one only sold for $3.99, and by the time you pay some of the fees, you don't make very much. But I think in the grand scheme of things, by the time I sell all 300-ish of these, there's going to be some pretty good money to be made. So I'm patient, and I just take some of the lower ones, and I kind of figure like when I get towards the end, you know, a couple months go by and you're not selling some of them, that might group up a few of the ones that aren't selling as well, or ones that are similar. Some artists, ones that aren't worth a lot, I've been kind of putting together, and maybe get rid of some at that point. But I'm going to try to stick it out and sell each one individually so I can try to get the most money possible per cassette. So I've also learned a few lessons along the way when doing this, and I'll show you one here. I'm going to skip a few in a minute here. But even some of them surprised me, like $24.99 for one cassette, $12.99, $14.99. Mind you, I think the better ones are selling faster than some of the slower ones. But here's the one I also learned a lesson on, because I did grow up with cassette tapes. I'm an 80s baby. I was born in the late 70s, and I'm familiar with cassettes, but I didn't really pay attention to them, I think, that well. So this one turned out to be a demo, and I didn't know really that it was a demo until the person messaged me, I think after they bought it, and asked if I had any more demos that they could purchase. And I was like, a demo? And I did have a really hard time finding any sort of like comp for this one. Mainly the main problem is the name Bang with an exclamation point was very difficult to look up. And so here's the tip for you. The cassette tapes that are demos don't really have any record label information on them at all. And I didn't really notice that on this one until that guy asked about the demo. And then I started to identify so I could tell in the future what to be looking for. I did a quick scan of most of the rest of the cassettes, and I didn't really see any that were obviously, you know, just looking at the spines, because you can see how there's no record label information on the spine. And I don't think I have any more, but like I said, maybe we'll see. But so there's a hot tip, because maybe this cassette tape was going to be worth way more than this. I might have undersold it. It was sort of a kind of hair metal-y, I don't know, rock thing. It was kind of hard to describe. I went and listened to it again just to make sure what it was. But so that's something to be on the lookout for if you do get into selling cassette tapes. I'm slowly learning this stuff like the hard way. You know, you're going to make some mistakes, and I'm going to have some good ones and some bad ones. And I do have to say, after all of this, I'm definitely getting way more familiar with rap, as that's what the majority of this collection was. There's a few things mixed into it, and I think I get towards the end it's going to be a little bit more dance music kind of stuff. But for now, it's mostly rap stuff. So, as you can see, another one for $19.99. And this one was really a cool one, and I wish you could see more tapes like this. Like, I don't know why they didn't make some that were always cool and colorful. But $24.99 for this cassette tape, I think, because the blue color really helped that one. So a $4.99. And this is some of the ones from that first set that was a little bit more on the 90s alternative metal kind of range. So a Slayer. Quite a few of the same Boogie Down Productions has been selling pretty good. Helmet, some metal, hard rock, Ghetto Boys. I even sold a Nirvana one early on, $11.99. A little bit of Motley Crue for $8.99. And then I had another one where buddied up a couple of different ones, and that's why it says free shipping on a couple of these, because I think he bought like 3 or 4 at the same time. So I kind of worked it so he could buy them that way. Sometimes I make one listing, sometimes I just let him buy them separate if I know they're getting ready to purchase. So anyway, I just thought I'd give a little quick update on this deal, and hopefully I'll have some more stuff to report back as this goes, and kind of interested to see how it ends up at the end of all of this. Kind of a nice little experiment, and I'm definitely on the lookout for cassette tapes now because I think this is going to be good steady money coming for me, and it's not a lot of extra work. Sometimes I do have to do a little bit of extra research to try to figure out what some of the more obscure rap cassette tapes might be worth, and if not, I just kind of guess a price and see what happens. So anyway, I just thought I'd give a little update, and give me a follow if you're like content like this and want to follow along to see how this turns out in the future. Thanks, guys.